Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you are joining me in a fun little number. I'm in a Mini Cooper Clubman diesel. Now some of you that have been following the channel for a while, you remember that I had a Mini Cooper S, which was an R53, and my love for Mini has always been there, even though I've only actually owned one. So the thing with the original BMW Mini was that it was only ever built as a hatchback, and then yes, they had some spin-off models of that. But right now the model lineup is such that you can get yourself into a Mini to fit your lifestyle. So this Clubman is pretty much like a lifestyle car. You know, you got like little kids, you got a family, you can get one of these, and you know, you can really enjoy that Mini experience. And that's what this really is going to be all about. It's going to be about that Mini experience without sacrificing the space and, you know, the comfort. Right off the bat, this one is the Mini Cooper diesel, meaning that it's got a 2-litre diesel engine, pumping out around about 150 horsepower with probably in the region of about, I don't know, 350 newton meters of torque thereabouts, maybe a bit more. I don't have the full stats with me, but the one thing that I can honestly say is that this car, over the last 20 minutes that I've been sitting into it, has kept me smiling for the best part of it. It's so much fun. The car is so direct to drive. You know, it's like a little go-kart. And yes, you know, you've got all the different driving modes and whatnot in this car, and the best part of this experience is the way you roll gears and you dart in and out of traffic with this thing. It is just brilliant. So I just jumped in the back, and I'm about 5'7". It's quite a bit of knee room. This seat is kind of pushed pretty much all the way back, and you got young kids, they'll be perfectly fine. And again, the doors open quite wide, so when you're trying to get in and out of the car, it's a doddle. So I pinched this car off my good friend Layla. So a huge shout out to Layla for letting me drive her Pride and Joy. I do promise Layla that you'll get the car back in one piece. If not, you can have the A7. This engine has got to be, in my opinion, if you're looking for economy and, you know, that kind of lifestyle thing as a commuter car, this engine has got plenty of poke. It's got all the different driving modes into it, and I've just flicked it into its go-kart mode, which is in essence BMW's, you know, kind of sport. That's the thing, this car is built around BMW's platform, so it's got the full works in terms of, like say, the infotainment system, the engine and all of that from BMW, and that's not a bad thing because the engines are strong, the infotainment system is pretty decent, and in this iteration they've actually, you know, kind of modified it so that it's based around like a fun platform. So the way you navigate through, like say, the controls and everything, it's all kind of like a mini experience. So I'm on my way to those country lanes where we do all the driving, and I'm taking this car down those country lanes because it's a Mini. The thing about this car is it's in a class of its own. I was reading up about this car like before I got into it. I do a little bit of research, not too much, but one thing I found is that there's no real direct competitors for this car. You buy this car because you want this car. You won't buy it because you're looking for like a, you know, I don't know, an equivalent estate, because there isn't really one. The only one that comes close to this in the kind of way this car is probably the Mercedes CLA, but that's a completely different type of car. You don't get this amount of fun factor. It's like the little things that this car does, like, you know, you got the power and torque meter here, and it does these funny kind of like animations, which, you know, I'll throw in right now for you guys, and it's just so direct. Like when you're sitting in this car, you feel like you are in a go-kart. Like the dials, they're right in front of you, and that's like goes right back to like the original Mini as well. And all of these little things, they add up to that experience, and that goes a long way, because you don't really get that from most modern cars. And for me, I'm glad that even in the current generation Mini, these things are still there, and you know, they've kind of developed them upon what the original Mini came out to be back in 2001 under BMW's ownership. Straight away, I think what I like about this is the way it engages you through the gear shifting, how it holds you in these seats. Now bear in mind, this isn't a full-blown Cooper Works model, but even for I'd say a daily Cooper diesel, you get that full engagement. The steering is just something just to die for. I mean, this steering wheel in itself, where you got the kind of thumb rests, they remind me of what I had on the R53 back in the day. It's just so lovely to hold. It's not like overly thick or anything, and it's really direct, and that's what you really want. If you're looking for something that's fun to fit into your lifestyle and do all your kind of daily commutes and everything else, family life, I can honestly say this is the car. And this is no BS, because this is the type of car that I wasn't really expecting to actually enjoy. In my opinion, it was like a true Mini, but now that I've been driving this car for a short period of time, it likes to be revved, and it likes to be thrown around corners. And the best thing about this as well is that it's not crashy, which again goes a long way for it to be like a daily car. It likes to be like literally driven, taken by the horns, and just thrown around these corners. You can see how much arch gap there is between the tyre or the wheel and, like say, the arches, and that, to be honest with you, goes a long way for this car's comfort levels. It's not crashy whatsoever. The driving experience is right up there in my opinion. Like the pedals, for example, they're nicely weighted, they're nicely spaced as well, and the gear shift, which plays a massive part in the driving appeal of this car, is a very nice direct approach. It's something that BMWs generally don't do well in, but they've nailed it for this Mini, and they had to be honest with you, because all Minis before this, they all had like a direct gear shift action. So you know, when you're buying a car like this, or you know, you're thinking about having one of these cars at this kind of price point, or whatever the price point is, you're always gonna think about how the car feels, like in terms of touch points and quality and stuff like that. Now recently I did a vid on an Audi A5, and I kind of talked about the perceived quality and what the actual quality in that car was like. In this car, hand on heart, I can say that all the touch points in this feel way better than what they did in that Audi A5. Like for example, the door tops, the trimming on the dash and everything. And I go back to what I was saying in that vid, where Audi's quality of the interiors was up there, it's remained up there, but the competition has caught up. And this obviously being built by BMW, they've put in some of their best materials in this car. So everything that you touch in this car definitely feels like it's built to last, from indicator stalks to steering to gear and whatnot, you know, and the iDrive controls. Everything is just made of such a high quality that it's probably going to last longer than the car itself. If I had one criticism, because no car is perfect, if I had one criticism about this car and this particular model, it's probably the rear view. Now because you've got it's actually a 6-door model, this, so you got the 2 doors at the front, 2 doors at the back, and then the further 2 doors for the boot. Audi bag. Now where they join, you've got like this little bar that runs along it, and that kind of creates its own distinctive look, if I'm honest, and that's not a bad thing. But when you're looking through like the rear view mirror, you do get like this kind of a split that can get to your nerves a little bit. So at the end of the day, you'd probably just get used to that. I mean, I had a Honda Civic Type R which had like a massive wing that went all the way across the rear screen, and yeah, that was annoying, but you just kind of learn to live with it. I think everything else that I'm actually enjoying in this car can easily oversee that. I cannot believe that I'm actually having a lot of fun in something that's, you know, 150 horsepower car. It's just amazing how you don't need to have all that power. It's the whole engagement of the drive that comes into it, you see, and that's just something that very few cars get right. And I think Mini have always done that, you know, with the whole engagement. And you know, I've always been a big fan of them, but I love how, like say, the pedals are rated and how close they are as well, so if you want to like heel and toe you can do. And it's just amazing how this car has got that split personality. You know, Monday to Friday you can be, you know, pulling around town, picking the kids up from school, doing your shopping in this car and getting them all in, and then on the weekend you throw it into the go-kart mode, flick it around some of these corners and get a smile as big as mine. There's very few cars that give you this amount of excitement, and like I said, you don't have to have like say 600 horsepower under the bonnet. This with like 150 horsepower is plenty for something like this. For a backstreet hoon, you can actually use all of that 150 horsepower and get it on the road, which is like the best part of the experience. So guys, in my opinion, this is the real deal pocket rocket with diesel power that's adequate enough to get you from A to B with a lot of fun. So guys, I think I'm going to wrap up. This car is certainly not a letdown at all whatsoever. I love the way this car performs. I love everything about it. I really hope that you have found this video informative and enjoyable to watch as much as I have enjoyed driving this car. Huge shout out to you, Layla. Thank you very much. I owe you a driving the Audi. You can have it. Or the M4. Maybe not the M4. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a like, share, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.